This Friday evening, we welcome you to Houston, Texas. Two of the top teams year in, year out in the American collide tonight. First of a three-game series this weekend. The Bulls of USF, last year's regular season champs, colliding with the team that will host this year's conference tournament, the Cougars of Houston. The Bulls and Cougars, round one, getting underway tonight here on the American Digital Network. Great to have you with us, Lincoln Rose, along with former ECU Pirate Jill Jelnick. Jill, we take a look at this matchup. Always such high expectations. Preseason poll has USF as your favorite this year. Houston wasn't far behind, right behind the Bulls, along with the Shockers of Wichita State.
And it's still very early in the conference season. This is only their second conference weekend. However, this is a very important weekend for these two teams. This is the one they circle ahead of time when the schedule comes out, and that's because these are two of the top teams in the American Athletic Conference. As you mentioned, the former first place regular season USF Bulls and the Houston Cougars, the second place last year in the regular season. And I think the biggest thing with these two teams, they have a veteran staff both on the mound and at the plate. I expect this to be a dogfight tonight, and I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I do expect it to come down to the wire.
Some of the better pitchers in this league on display, but first up, take a look. Bulls on Friday got a win, but would drop the series this past weekend against Tulsa. How do they get another Friday night win here tonight?
Attack early in the count, jump on that first pitch, come out aggressive, and then keep the game alive. What we mean by that is have your defense make the plays to stay in the game. And then turn around on offense. The offense needs to come out, again, attack early in the count and be productive. And just keep your pitchers in the game and your hitters in the game.
Conversely, the Cougars were on the road at Wichita State. They were run-ruled on Friday, but would bounce back and take the next two games on the road. How do they keep this momentum going?
They're hitting .291 right now as a team. They've been hot at the plate. They've won 20 of their last 24 games. And right now, the key, continue that offensive consistency, that power, the getting runners on base and moving them over, and then also playing their game. We talked to head coach Kristen Vesely. She says, if we just do what we need to do and what we're capable of, we'll come out on top.
For USF, one of the players I know you want to keep an eye on, the junior Anna Marie Bruni. Tough to keep track of. So fast out there on the bases.
Oh, incredibly fast. Leads the conference in stolen bases. She's a lefty leadoff hitter with speed, absolutely deadly. Watch out for her today. A very tough out.
And of course, for Houston, they have one of your defending co-pitchers of the year, but Savannah Hebner will get the start at first base today. Might have a chance in relief.
Whether she's at first base or on the mound, she is a versatile athlete, a lot of athletic ability, and that's why she was named to this year's Top 50 Player of the Year watch list. Be on the lookout for her to have a great weekend.
It's game one of a three-game series. Cougars and Bulls opening pitch when we come back here on the American Digital Network. Bruni scores.
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30.
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Perfect day for softball. Great to have you with us here on the American Digital Network. Lincoln Rose, Jill Jelenic, and for the first time today, a chance to check in down on the diamond with Stephanie Gonzalez.
Thanks, guys. I'm so excited to be here tonight at Cougar Softball Field. As you can see, both teams are ready for tonight's game. And if you're watching, make sure to go to our Facebook page and let us know where you're watching from. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Stephanie. Look forward to the interaction with the viewers here tonight. And, of course, USF Bats would like to have a little bit more interaction than Bats have had this year against today's starting pitcher in the circle for the Cougars. What a year it has been. Top 4 in the nation in ERA when you talk about Presley Bell, the talented right-hander.
A very talented pitcher. Right now, she is a go-to girl for this Houston Cougars pitching staff, a very strong staff. And we talked to head coach Kristen Vesley earlier this week, and she loves that she has so much depth in this pitching staff and also the veteran experience. Bell, a senior, as you mentioned, she leads the Houston pitching staff with .8 ERA, the best in the conference. Very talented pitcher. Looked for her to be dominant on the mound tonight.
So with Bell in the circle, it's Anna Marie Bruni for the Bulls set to lead things off. Megan Sheehan on deck. Macy Cook batting third today for USF. Again, the Bulls were victorious this past weekend, the opening weekend of American play against another talented team in the league in Tulsa on their Friday game. As a 4-0 affair, but Tulsa would make the adjustments over the next 2 days, and the Bulls would actually drop the series. They only dropped one weekend series all of last year en route to their regular season title when they would go 14-7. Houston would finish tied for second, just one loss back behind the Bulls. That's how tight of a race we expect to have again this year. Now you hear the pop of the glove of Brooke Vanoy, who's been an anchor back there at catcher, as Vanoy has made every single start in her career. That's now 198 games. Of course, she started off as a shortstop her freshman year. I don't know how many players are moved to catcher for longevity. Of course, a Houston reference would be Craig Biggio, a great catcher who has moved to second base to extend his career. But Vanoy has been the constant, and she's really been a Rosetta Stone of sort, working with 4 different pitchers this year for the Cougars.
And that's an incredible talent. It speaks very highly of Vanoy because not often do you have every catcher be able to catch each single individual pitcher on the team. Usually you have several, but Vanoy is without a doubt their backbone.
And again, Bell made it look easy there against Bruni. Megan Sheehan will come up with nobody on and 1 away. See if Sheehan can get things started. takes the first pitch for a strike. Our home plate umpire here this evening, Mark Craver. Dallas Apfelbacher and Terrence Hall are 2 umpires out in the field.
Back-to-back slappers for USF. As you can see right now, Sheehan with the timely slap. Excellent slap to down the third baseline.
That's a fair ball. It'll be extra bases as a 1-out double for Sheehan.
She did a great job on that one, taking the outside pitch in that direction, squaring it up with the fat part of the bat. Check it out again. She has that timely slap to get her time down, and then that outside pitch, she goes with it, perfectly placed, and a table setter. And a great job by Sheehan.
A nice aggressive running. Sheehan now in scoring position for Macy Cook. So Cook at the plate. Lindsay Devitt's your cleanup hitter. Bethany Keene in the hole right now. And just off the mark. Cook showing bunt. Chopper foul.
With only 1 out, this is a great bunt situation for USF. Right with Sheehan in scoring position, she needs to know that as soon as that ball is placed on the ground, she needs to be careful if it's in the air, but as soon as that ball's on the ground, use her speed to her advantage. 4 for 6 in stolen bases this year.
This will have a chance to get down. In front of Thomas, looking for the throw home, but instead it'll be cut off. And the Bulls able to strike first here in Houston. Macy Cook had the game-winning grand slam in, again, Friday's victory last weekend. She has put her Bulls up here early.
Great job by Cook going with that outside pitch to the right center gap. She did a nice job leveling it out and coming up clutch in this situation. There was a runner on scoring position. She came up for her team and delivered when the Bulls needed her to.
Still just 1 out. Here's your cleanup hitter in Devitt. As that one not tempting high for the senior shortstop. Now, in the nicest of ways, Ken Erickson summed up Devitt as grandma. She is the elder statesman on this team, respected and loved by all of her teammates, and very much a leader of this program. I think it's a little too early to be talking about arthritis. Very impressive, again, individual leading the way for this program. Great look at that pitch just off the mark. You see downtown Houston skyline off in the distance. Great to have you with us. Last year, these 2 teams met in Tampa. USF leads the all-time series 19-15, taking 2 of the 3 games in Florida last year, but they did drop the Friday matchup. You see right now Macy Cook, who had that RBI single, bringing home Sheehan, still 1 away. Here's the 2-2 to Devitt. Well hit, it'll get down and all the way back to the wall before Barker tracks it down. And a 1-out double for Devitt has 2 more Bulls in scoring position.
Bats are hot for USF right now. They did a great job attacking early in this game. Excellent job by Devitt, leveling that out, finding that gap. USF, tons of momentum on their side.
Some optimism here early. Bulls looking to make the most of these opportunities. As you talk about the great staffs both of these teams have, you're looking at Megan Gibson-Lofton, already a Texas A&M Hall of Famer from back in her days. She helps lead the pitchers for Houston. You've got no shortage of All-American accolades on the Houston staff, and of course there is Mr. USA himself. Ken Erickson, for a 9th straight year, has been chosen as head coach for Team USA, while Kristen Vesely, what a career it was at Oklahoma. Ken Erickson, of course, will be leading the red, white, and blue to Tokyo in 2020 as softball reinstated as an Olympic sport.
Very much looking forward to those 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. And as you mentioned, Ken Erickson a huge part in the success of that team. They just claimed the first of 5 available spots for those Tokyo 2020 Olympics. A huge role with Team USA as their head coach and a leader, and very well respected in the sport.
Yeah, you know, Japan's guaranteed a spot, so 5 other bids remained. USA able to claim one this past year. Kat Osterman's come out of retirement, hoping to make the cut. Right now, the team down to 25. They'll trim it to 15. As right now, Ken Erickson's Bulls with a 1-run advantage. The only out was Anna Marie Bruni with the strikeout. Since then, a double, single, and double from Sheehan, Cook, and Devitt, respectively. Here's Bethany Keene at the plate out of the 5-hole. Snagged by Hebner, throw to the plate, and that is an inning-ending double play. Savannah Hebner had a highlight double play this past week. He picks right back up with that Golden Glove. Cougars into the home half of the first, down by 1.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
A big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American, power for life.
The American.
power for life.
Bulls able to strike first and give Georgina a lead to work with. Could have been more, but a great inning-ending double play by last year's other pitcher of the year in the American, splitting that honor with the talented Bull. Georgina Korek this year, the sophomore, a 1.14 ERA, was last year's Rookie of the Year and co-pitcher of the year with Savannah Hebner. 12 wins, just 2 defeats through her 20 appearances this season, making her 13th start today. Half of her first 12 starts, she has gone the distance. And she is facing a good one here to lead things off in Lindsey Stewart for Houston. Of course, Stewart started her career in San Antonio as a UTSA Roadrunner, would be Player of the Year as a freshman. Now is back home, grew up in Pearland, just south of here. The junior for the Cougars. And Jill, she's been slapping less this year.
That's right. Head coach Kristen Vesley told us that her slap to hit ratio is more even now. She's been slapping less, and that's because of the new rule that was implemented in 2018, the new slapping rule, which says that a hitter must make contact inside the box.
Tough hop for Devitt. She'll have to swallow it with the speed of Stewart. The moment you bobble a ball, you have let Stewart reach base.
You don't have more than a split second to get this throw off. As you mentioned, it was just a quick little bobble, but that's all Stewart needs to reach base on time.
It's the 24th consecutive game Lindsey Stewart has reached base safely.
Stewart 4 for 9 in stolen base attempts. Don't be surprised if she steals this on the very first pitch.
Nice bunt by Barker. Only plays it first. She gets the job done, moving Stewart into scoring position, almost able to reach base herself.
A productive out by Barker. She did her job, executed the bunt perfectly, got it on the ground. Nice play by the defense, but in turn, she moved Stewart over into scoring position and helped her team out immensely.
So Korek with that runner in scoring position and Lindsey Stewart behind her. Here's Ariel James for the first time. James, your former freshman of the year in this league. Last year's a sophomore, second team all-conference. He has Savannah Hebner on deck. Barring a double play, we'll see Hebner against Korek.
James has been on fire in the last 10 games. She's hitting .429 with 6 extra base hits in the last 10 contests. She is hot right now, and she's who you want at the plate in this situation.
You see she has Stewart, a teammate, in scoring position. And that one will die down in the glove of Kelsey Lay, and Stewart has to hold up right where she was, now 2 away.
The mindset of Stewart changes a little bit with 2 outs. As you can see, looking at the replay, she looked like she just got underneath it a little bit too much. Had she leveled out that swing, it might have been able to have a little more power to get into the gap. But as I was mentioning, Stewart now, the mindset changes with 2 outs. With her speed, she knows that as soon as she sees contact made, whether it's in the air or on the ground, she is gone. And it's going to be up to coach at third base, either to give her the green light or to hold her up.
About 2 hours prior to the game, Kristen Vesely told her pitchers who would get the start. Today, that is Bell. Hebner then, of course, gets the start as a result at first base. But Hebner has a chance to help out her fellow pitcher if she can tie this one up here. Looking for a 2-out base hit with Lindsey Stewart still on second base. 0-1 offering to Hebner. And the Bulls should be able to get out of the first inning with that 1-run lead still intact. Georgina Corrick comes on, does not allow a base hit in her first inning of work. Lone runner Stewart reaching on the air will be left on base. Bulls back at the plate when we return.
We're the visionaries.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body.
The American is dedicated
to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see,
then it needs to be okay to seek help for injuries we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help.
End the stigma.
Wind blowing out. We'll see if our talented pitchers can keep all the balls in the ballpark here today. Brooke Hartman, your DP for the Bulls, with her first plate appearance today against Presley Bell. Bell gave up 3 base hits in that first inning. But only 1 run would come home to score. Macy Cook bringing home Megan Sheehan.
Bell doing a nice job mixing her pitches, both sides of the plate, bouncing that ball all around and also hitting all 4 quadrants. Trying to keep her hitters off balance right now.
Hartman, the junior, out of Port Orange, Florida. No surprise, we have some Sunshine State natives for the Bulls. Meanwhile, it would be an understatement if I said the majority of the Houston starters were from the Houston area. You have Hebner from Colorado, everybody else from Texas, and almost all of them from the greater Houston area. Able to squeeze that one in. Stewart as Hartman retired. First 2 innings that Presley Bell has kept the leadoff batter off the base paths.
Coach Vesely mentioned the idea of hammering the home state. You mentioned how many girls are from Houston, from Texas. She says it's huge in recruiting, being able to get the best talent in Texas, because there is so much great softball talent. It's a hot state. Club teams can play year-round, and that makes a difference. That's why there's very competitive softball on the West Coast and Hawaii as well as Texas, and she made that a priority. She says if we can get the best players from our state, from our city, we will be a top 25 caliber team.
This is Kelsey Lay out of the 7th spot in the lineup. How good is this lineup for the Bulls? Ken Erickson talks about his number 7 hitter, Kelsey Lay, as if they're in the bottom of the 18th inning and there's a 3-2 pitch count, nobody he'd rather have at the plate. Laid to take care of business.
He said she's calm, cool, collected. Nothing's bothering her. That's who you want in these situations.
And that ball was fair when snagged by Queen. 2 up, 2 down.
Nice off-foot throw by Queen. Very difficult play. It looked like she didn't have enough time really to get her entire body in front of it. Taking a look at it again, she did the best she could. She knew she didn't have a lot of time, got rid of it as quick as she could off that off-foot throw. Did an excellent job getting the out.
Still working our way through the Bulls lineup for the first time. Here's Riley Gore out of the 8-hole. As Presley Bell quickly works ahead in the count. Bell with a chance to face the minimum here in the second inning after seeing 5 Bulls in the first. That inning-ending double play thanks to the play of Hebner at first. Certainly a great benefit behind Bell.
One of the many strengths of Bell, her pitch down low. She can hit those corners down low very well, hit her spots. She's also has a very nice curveball and also a backdoor curve. So she's able to pick her location, hit that spot, and that is so important for a pitcher, from a movement pitcher. She's not necessarily going to blow it by you, but she's going to outwork you with her locations and her spots.
Could not get Gore to help her out on that one. The Bulls had 2 doubles in that first inning, and it's even more impressive when you consider the fact that Bell had only given up 4 extra base hits all season.
Speaks very highly of her as well as the defense behind her. As we mentioned before, 0.8 ERA, first in the conference. She's a senior, and a lot of this comes with experience. A lot of innings on the mound over the years, and also maturity, mentally and physically.
And that one just a tad high from Bell. It's been a nice at-bat here from the 8-hitter Riley Gore. You've got Des Maldonado on deck before the top of the order comes back around for the Bulls.
She's gone to her changeup several times so far this game. With 2 strikes, I wouldn't be surprised if she uses it now.
And the count will hold right where it is. You saw that ball as a catcher. It's so easy to get dinged up back there, and yet somehow Brooke Vanoise, we've already touched on, has been the Iron Woman back behind home plate in her career. 198 starts in her career. That's to go along with 198 possible starts in her career. And the count again stays at 2-2. Brooke is from Sugar Land, just west of here. Went to George Ranch High School when she played her high school ball, wrapping up 4 years ago. Add a little bit more power to her offense, but again, just so valuable back there behind the plate.
Speaks to her tenacity, her grit, and her ability to come through for her team.
Ariel James will toss it over. That's a 3-up, 3-down inning as Presley Bell wins the standoff with Riley Gore. A 1-run affair. Houston grabs their bats for a second time when we return.
We're the visionaries, chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living, never routine. Conquer the impossible, rise, break through. Fire in the belly, we got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further, let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express, every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with 1 drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
There's just the second ever head coach for this Houston Cougars softball program, Kristen Vesley. When the bats are in their hands, she's over there at third base. Says, what a career in Norman with the Sooners. As she was on Kyla Hollis' staff for 6 years here in Houston before getting the promotion. As right now at the plate, it's Sarah Queen for the Cougars. Chance for us to check in with Stephanie Gonzalez.
All right, guys, so the U of H fans are loud, but let me tell you, the USF bench is louder. The players are singing, dancing, cheering on their teammates as they leave the game right now.
Yeah, that is a unique dynamic in softball, as perhaps it's hard to keep up with the energy that's being provided out of both dugouts. And that ball will not be caught. You had 3 different bulls in the area, and that was too many.
Very difficult ball to catch. You saw both infield, as Lincoln mentioned, all 3 players coming in. And right now, that's a difficult position for Cook to make that catch. So Keene needs to overpower her. We could hear Keene try to call her off, but as soon as Cook hears her, she needs to back away because that's a much more difficult catch for a catcher to make.
Subsequent pitch, Sarah Queen makes them pay. A solo shot to tie it up, and Sarah Queen took advantage of the second bite at the apple.
A phenomenal job by Queen. It looked like Corrick left her rise ball a little too level. Let's take a look at it again. Corrick, a rise ball there, and Queen does an excellent job leveling it out. She doesn't need to lift it too much because Corrick delivers that power. An excellent job by Queen leveling out that rise ball. Beautiful shot.
First home run for Sarah and Georgina. Meanwhile, realizing they should have had her on the previous pitch on that foul ball. Here's Maya Thomas now. Nobody on, nobody out, but a brand new ball game here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Those are the types of mistakes and errors that coaches beat themselves up about, and the ones that they harp the most on their team and their players, the ones that could have been avoided, especially when it comes to communication, and the ones that trickle into a different play, a cause and effect play just like that. As you mentioned, had they gotten that out previously, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Maya now a senior, first 3 years, claiming all conference accolades in each of the 3 seasons. She's also from Sugar Land, just down the road. Her average is down a little bit due to bunts being a bigger part of her repertoire this year. But she has the ability to get one out of the ballpark as well. We just saw Sarah Queen a moment ago with the solo blast.
She's what you call a triple threat. She can drop that sneaky bunt, slap it where she needs to, and also hit it out of the park with power.
And they read her well. Again, Kelsey Lay playing up on it. There's your first out. That'll bring up Kelly Montgomery, the DP for Houston today, out of the 7th spot.
Thomas did a nice job. I would like to see her whip that bat around a little more, maybe turn a little harder on that inside pitch and maybe poke it past the first baseman, but still a very nice play by the defense.
Montgomery, the freshman, batting a .190 here in her first collegiate season. Again, she kicks off the bottom 3rd of this lineup with Aspen Howie and Brooke Vinoy just around the bend. Kelly went to the Kincaid School here in Houston.
Nice rise ball by Cork. You even heard Coach Erickson just say, stay off that pitch. That's a deadly rise ball. Very difficult to recognize. One of the most difficult pitches to lay off of in the sport of softball.
Kelly's DP today. We see her at first when Huebner is in the circle. A great defensive player for Coach Vesley. You know, we talked about Kristen Vesley, her great career at Oklahoma, 2-time All-American. But her assistants, Megan Gibson-Lofton, who we've seen once today, Jessica Schultz, also a multiple All-American in her own right, as Montgomery goes down on strikes. And while Kristen Vesley's at 3rd, over at first base, Coach Sarah O'Brien, one of the new additions. And I know we have a slightly partial Sarah O'Brien fan tuning in as well. Her mom able to take advantage of the broadcast today. Both these teams, just tremendous staffs helping them out. Of course, USF had last year's American Staff of the Year. That includes some current USA players as well as former. But right now, with 2 away, it's Aspen Howie, the shortstop. Sarah Queen led off this inning with the solo shot. Since then, a ground out and a strikeout to keep the Cougars off the base paths. Aspen Howie's one of the few starters not from Houston. She's all the way over in the state capital of Austin. Last year's all-rookie out of Lake Travis High School. And watches that one right down the middle.
I'm very impressed by the way Corrick has responded after giving up that long ball earlier in the inning. She's done a nice job battling back, getting ahead in the count. She got the strikeout earlier with Montgomery, now working her way with Howie.
Ahead in the count. She'll sit her down. Back-to-back strikeouts for last year's co-pitcher of the year, Georgina Corrick. But it was the first batter of the inning that got away. Sarah Queen, the solo shot, has us even after 2.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
No better way to spend your Friday afternoon. Perhaps some future Cougars and Bulls in the crowd here in Houston. Lincoln Rose, Jill Jelnick, Stephanie Gonzalez with you. Great to have you tuning in today here on the American Digital Network. As the Bulls surrendered their lead just a moment ago, Des Maldonado out of the 9 spot leads off here in the 3rd inning. Her first chance to see Presley Bell today before the top of the order comes back around. Well, one of Dez's biggest hits this year arguably doesn't count. As we'll have more on that in just a moment. As James able to field it. Des hit a home run against Team Japan when they came to Tampa for an exhibition on mid-February. Again, your head coach, being head coach of Team USA, has its perks, attracting some international competition.
I know you said it doesn't count, but to everybody on her team as well as Des, that one counts, let's be honest.
Oh, they'll keep her on the base paths as Anna Marie Bruni comes up, struck out back in the 1st inning against Presley Bell before her next 3 teammates were able to reach with base hits. And Presley Bell has to be pleased to see that deficit erased, resetting this game for her. We'll see what kind of adjustments some of the Bulls have made their 2nd time through the lineup.
Bruni, having seen Bell once already, should make the necessary adjustments. It looked like she was a little behind in her first at-bat. She is a slapper, and so that does mean that her timing needs to be even more on point than anybody else's, any other type of hitter.
Anna Marie has started all 38 games this year, got underneath this one, and a rare 0-2 start for the talented center fielder and leadoff hitter for the Bulls. That's 2 up, 2 down.
Nice catch by Stewart. Getting a little action today in the outfield.
She doesn't mind as long as it stays within the confines. Here's Megan Sheehan, the only Bull to touch home today. It's still early.
Sheehan, another slapper with speed on this USF team.
That was her first extra base hit of the year when she doubled with 1 out back in the 1st inning before she would ultimately come around on the RBI from Macy Cook, who's on deck. If Sheehan can continue this inning, but meanwhile, it's 6 straight retired at the moment for Presley Bell. Here's the 2-0.
Bell doing a nice job pitching the last two slappers, both Bruni and Sheehan, low and away. Because the slapper is in movement towards the base, their body is pulled towards that direction, which makes it more difficult to hit that outside pitch like that one.
That one will hit off the glove of Queen. Howie can't keep it in front of her. And regardless of how you score it, Sheehan has extended the inning here in the third.
Great job by Sheehan. That ball right on that outside corner. Take another look at it. She goes with the pitch, pokes it in the 5-6 hole, and had enough power to get that bounce. Great job by Sheehan. 2 for 2. She's on fire today.
That will give Macy Cook another chance to drive in a run today. RBI single back in the first before she was tagged out at home as the final out on a double play. First pitch swinging. And able to stay with it. Aspen Howie stayed focused and got it to first. Bulls will strand a runner. We remain tied heading into the home half of the third inning. Cougars bats up next.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Take a look into the Cougars dugout as they are back at the plate. Brooke Vanoy will lead things off out of the 9 spot. Then it's back to Lindsey Stewart and Sarah Parker. Brooke's final year as a Cougar. Again, as a freshman, a great shortstop before moving behind home plate. Added a little bit more power to that bat this year. But even if she never found a base hit all season long, she'd be one of your more valuable players. Well, you mentioned earlier, we don't expect too many fireworks in this ball game with the great pitchers, 2 of the best in the conference. Of course, Georgina Korek, what a splash last year as a freshman, co-pitcher of the year with Hebner, and Bell, a breakout season so far in her senior campaign. As Korek works herself ahead with Vanoy.
2 great individual pitchers, but also 2 great staffs. USF, the 3rd best staff in the ERA with 2.25, and then Houston, 2nd best pitching staff with a 1.8 ERA. Very difficult pitching staffs to get in. If you're a hitter, it's very difficult to try to adjust to one pitcher, because just when you think you have one pitcher figured out, that the very next day, game 2, that's when another pitcher is ran out there and you have to adjust all over again. That's where those pitching staffs come into key, is these conference series, when you have to face these teams 3 times in the course of 3 days. The deeper your staff, the more depth you have, the advantage you have on defense.
Well, no surprise, Brooke Vanoy is very aware of what the strike zone is today. She's had a good vantage point for the first few innings. Still can't get a barrel on that one. Korek with her 3rd strikeout.
Korek did a nice job getting ahead in this count on Vanoy. And then with this pitch, just a tad outside, but a beautiful drop. And Vanoy just swung right over on top of it, just missing it.
We're back to Lindsey Stewart, who reached on the infield error back in the first inning, but would be left on base. The only runner stranded so far by Houston today.
We mentioned earlier how she's slapping less this year, and that's because of the new rule in 2018. Slappers no longer can have any part of their foot outside the box. Before, they could have 3/4 of their foot outside as long as one part of their foot was still touching the chalk. Well, no longer. As of last season, the batter will be out if any part of her foot is outside that chalk line when she makes contact. And that's a huge change for anybody that has played the sport of softball or knows what slapping is. It changes the dynamic of the entire small ball game completely. And there's been a lot of controversy in terms of that rule change because slappers have had a difficult time adjusting to it. Now that the rule's been in place for an entire season, teams, players, coaches have had more time to adjust, but it really comes down to their footwork. A lot of people think that with slappers, it's their hand-eye coordination, which is very important. However, it's the footwork that makes the difference, and with this new rule, it changes it dramatically.
Stewart facing Cork for the second time today. Both feet in the box. Cork able to field her circle that time. 2 up, 2 down. Yeah, I'm only slightly exaggerating when it felt like, though, they were getting pretty lenient with the old slapper rules where some pitchers probably felt like they could have reached out and shaken the hand of the hitter when they were making contact.
Clearly, there was an issue before because why are rules put in place? Because there's some sort of problem or reoccurring theme that they want to help fix. And I think down the line, couple years from now, it will be something that everybody is moving in the right direction and is on the same page. But right now, it's still very early with this rule change, and that's why slappers are having to make these drastic adjustments.
Sarah Barker had a productive bunt with a teammate on back in the first inning, obviously swinging here with 2 outs and nobody on. Barker came in to today, the senior hitting .354 on the campaign, making about half of the starts this season. Slugging .500 on the year. See if she can prolong this third inning as Cork has yet to face the minimum. Cork saw 4 Cougars in the first, 4 more in the second, including Sarah Queen's game-tying home run. But the last 5 Cougars have been retired in order. And Cork had struck out 3 in a row before that ground out by Stewart a moment ago. These are 2 teams, when they get base runners on, they will do everything they can to maximize those few opportunities against these great pitchers.
Cork leads the conference in strikeouts. Just keeps adding to it.
Second straight frame that Cork posts, a couple of Ks. We're on the road here in Houston. We're still tied.
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further. Let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express. Every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body. The American is dedicated to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see,
then it needs to be okay
to seek help for injuries
we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help.
End the stigma.
One ball game, just about what we expected coming into this clash between 2 of the top teams in the American. Let's check in quickly with Stephanie.
All right, guys, as we've mentioned tonight, these are 2 of the top teams in the conference, and they're really showing it tonight. They're being very vocal, they're playing really hard, and it's clear that they both want to come out with a win tonight. Back to you, Lincoln.
Yeah, again, 1 win can be the difference in the regular season title pursuit. Obviously, USF trying to dig themselves out of an early disadvantage after at home against Tulsa, another great program over the years in the American. They won on Friday, but saw both Saturday and Sunday slip away. I know we have some Tulsa fans tuned in after they got a win over Memphis earlier today. Wichita State's game has been moved to a doubleheader tomorrow due to weather. But it's great now that conference play is underway, and just a lot of excitement now that every win means that much more.
Again, it's still very early in this conference play season, only the second weekend of American Athletic Conference play, but we're looking at 3 of the top teams. You mentioned Tulsa, they're right up there, the tournament champions last year. USF, Houston, all 3 of these teams went on to the NCAA tournament last year. 4 teams from the American went on to postseason. Speaks very highly of the competitiveness of this conference, and USF head coach Ken Erickson could not mention that more, could not make that more apparent, that the competitiveness of this conference has increased and grown so much over the years, and that's because the strength of these teams, the coaching staffs, has been very impressive.
Diving effort, but it'll get through. Howie couldn't knock it down. Stewart will secure it, and it's a leadoff hit for Devitt. So Devitt is 2 for 2 today against Presley Bell with a double and now a single.
Devitt, nice job waiting back, very patient. It looked like an off-speed pitch, and she was able to keep her weight back and deliver, taking it right back where it was pitched.
And give way to Bethany Keene, who hit into the inning double play back in the first. That inning could have been a whole lot more, as the Bulls did manage to produce 1 run. Look at Keene, the junior, hitting .318 coming into tonight. One of just 2 Bulls who've been in the starting lineup, or make it 3 Bulls who've been in the starting lineup each and every day. And much easier to handle here for Howie. 6-4-3 as the bases are wiped clean.
Nice job by the middle infielders getting to their spot ahead of time. Ball wasn't hit too hard, so Howie knew she needed to get rid of it quick. A nice little toss and a great job on the back end by James finishing off the double play.
There's the defense backing up their talented pitchers regardless of who's in the circle day in, day out. Brings us back to Brooke Hartman, flied out to lead off the second inning, 0 for 1 today. Hartman with 7 hits on the year, again making about half of the starts this season for the Bulls. And head coach Ken Erickson now in his 23rd year with the Bulls, looking for win number 959 here today.
Very impressive resume, and has grown this program so much those 23 years. 14 NCAA tournament appearances.
Yeah, including 2012 all the way to Oklahoma City. And he's got Jessica Moore, great coach with USA on her resume, and his director of ops is Valerie Arioto for a 3rd straight year. Talk about a great luxury to have, as Valerie's still competing with USA. She made the cut for the 25, hoping to make the cut down to 15 as well. Got to see her actually here in Houston when she played just north of here for the Nationals with Monica Abbott against Scrapyard Fast Pitch throughout the summer, getting to play with a lot of her potential USA teammates. Hartman trying to keep this inning going after the double play a moment ago with no Bulls on the base paths. 0 for 1 today against Presley Bell.
I love the energy from both of these dugouts right now. USF, loud, vocal, just as Stephanie was mentioning earlier in her report. It's a huge part of the game, and until if you're in that dugout, you know how much an effect you have on that game. That energy is contagious because hitting is contagious.
So again, Presley Bell gets the starting nod today. Kristen Vesley has the luxury, really you can't go wrong, it would seem, with any of her 4 pitchers. And that's just crazy for me to think about. It's one thing for a program to really have 3 starting caliber pitchers, but for the Cougars this year to boast a 4th one, you really need a perfect chemistry among those pitchers for them to all be willing to play any role needed. This one launched out towards center. It'll get down to the warning track before Stewart tracks it down. A 2-out base hit, but it will not be extra bases. Stewart fires it in. James with the tag, and the Bulls, not so traditional 3 up, 3 down, but we remain tied here in Houston. One more look. The arm of Stewart on display. Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Back underway here in the home half of the 4th inning. Ariel James was on the receiving end of that great throw from Lindsey Stewart. It's James at the plate, 0 for 1 today after lining out to the right side back in the 1st inning. Savannah Huebner on deck, Sarah Queen with her game-tying home run in the hole. And Georgina Korick has now retired 7 straight Cougars.
Korick has done an excellent job bouncing back ever since she gave out that home run to Queen early in the game. I'm so impressed by her resiliency, her mental attitude. She's come out and attacked every at-bat, every hitter in their at-bat, getting ahead on the count. And I love the way that she's coming out even more aggressive than perhaps she even started this game.
Savannah Huebner batting .317 coming into today against McNeese, and that extra inning affair. Cat-like reflexes, Cougar-like reflexes, I should say, in the circle. Had a line drive right at her, bobbled it, but kept it on the fly and was able to double off the runner at first. One of the better plays we have seen defensively around the country this past week. We were reminded when talking to Kristen Vesely, her head coach, that in club ball, she played shortstop. Of course, now we think of her as a first baseman and a pitcher.
Well, it speaks to the athleticism of Huebner. Those cat-like reflexes, as you said, hand-eye coordination, and just raw athleticism. And that's why she's so dominant wherever she's played, whether it's in the middle infield, at first base, or on the mound. And she also has a competitive spirit, that competitive edge. She loves to compete, even if she's in the box or on the field, wherever it is. She's a competitor, and she's going to give it everything she has.
She's your cleanup hitter for Kristen Vesely here with 1 out, nobody on. You see Sarah Queen on the edge of your picture as she's on deck. Underneath this one, it'll hang up there as Riley Gore in left able to squeeze it in. 2 up, 2 down. And if one foul ball had been caught back in the 2nd inning, this might still be a 1-0 lead for USF. But Sarah Queen, 1 pitch later, conquered that left field wall with her first home run on the year. She's back at the plate now 2 innings later.
The ball she lifted out of Cougar Stadium, it was a rise ball left a little chest high. It was a little too low, didn't get that enough height out of the zone. Korick is smart to be careful where she pitches her rise ball, knowing that Queen can take advantage of it.
Similar sound, will it be the same result? This one's gone. She didn't have a long ball all year. Sarah Queen has gone deep now, 2 for 2 today.
Phenomenal job by Queen once again. She takes advantage of that mistake by Korick. Take a look at her stance. Great job keeping her bat back again. It was a rise ball that was left a little too chest high, a little too close to her belt. Queen took advantage of the mistake.
The 2-run blast has given Houston, I should say the 2-out blast has given Houston its first lead today. Those are the only 2 base hits against Korick. That's a foul ball when it's picked up by Cook. Maya Thomas grounded out back in the second inning. She again comes up with nobody on, but this time with 2 away.
Houston hitting .291 as a team. USF knew coming in that offensive power, offensive consistency, offense altogether has been a strength of this Cougars team, and that any mistake this team will take advantage of, and that's exactly what we've seen with Queen's 2 at-bats. Corrick, a phenomenal pitcher. We can't rave about her enough. Former pitcher, co-pitcher of the year, leads the conference in several categories. However, anytime you take a pitch off, another good team, a very good hitter, will take advantage of that. And that's what conference play is all about. That's why these are 2 of the top teams in the American.
After Georgina gave up that first home run back in the second inning, she retired the next 8 Cougars until meeting Queen again. So Thomas is trying to extend this inning, pushes it out towards left. That'll get down. Gore keeps it in front of her to limit the damage. There's your 3rd hit of the game, the first one from a Cougar not named Sarah Queen.
Gore did a nice job keeping that ball in front of her when it was hit down. I would have maybe liked to see her lay out for that one, just because it was a little away from the 3rd baseline, and she knew she had Bruni behind her to back her up just in case.
People chatting about possibilities here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. And Kelly Montgomery, your DP, struck out against Corrick back in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1 today. And let's see, we're actually going to see our first pinch hitter on the day. It's Brianna Burton. Surprise, surprise, also from the Houston area. She's from Cypress, Texas. As the junior comes up in place of Montgomery as the DP.
Burton, an excellent hitter. That's why she's coming in this pinch hit situation. She's hitting .310 so far this season.
First pitch, Corrick fires it in there for a strike here with 2 outs. Back-to-back 2-out base hits. The home run from Queen, the single from Thomas brings Burton to the plate here.
As a pinch hitter, your mindset is be aggressive. You don't want to be too aggressive, but you are in this situation because of your strength on offense. Coach didn't put you in here to walk. He put you in here to get the job done. Right now with a runner on and 2 outs, she's looking to poke something somewhere in a gap, make solid contact. But with 2 strikes right now, her mindset needs to be protect the plate.
Trying to take the bag. And a great jump by Thomas as she has the steal. The throw just off the mark.
Thomas now 6 for 6 in stolen bases, has yet to be thrown out this season. Gets a nice jump off the bag. She decides to go head first on this slide. Maybe she saw the ball and as well as Devitt pulled off of the bag in one direction and wanted to get away.
So
either way, runner in scoring position for Houston.
Burton still at the plate. Bulls can still get out of this inning without any more damage done after that Queen home run, if they can retire Burton. Frozer. 5th strikeout on the day for Corrick. Not before Sarah Queen again sends a souvenir ball out of the park here at Cougar Softball Stadium.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives. Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Well, it took 4 innings, but Presley Bell will finally step into the circle for the Cougars with a lead to protect. She surrendered a run back in the first inning. Here's the bottom third of the order due up. Kelsey Lay, a ground ball out back in the second, 0 for 1 today. Lincoln Rose, Jill Jelnick, former Pirate over there at East Carolina, here on the American Digital Network.
Played at Cougar Stadium several times, and let me tell you, I hated playing there. It was always a ruckus environment. We heard Stephanie Gonzalez mention the atmosphere, the fans, how loud it is, and I just remember fans all over the place screaming, hollering for their team, and that's what you want at a softball game. Whether you're the away team coming in and having to battle that or not, it's a great environment, and it also speaks to the advantage of being at home, having those fans support you, being able to sleep in your own bed. You're not traveling on a bus or on a plane, and it goes a long way, especially when you have these 3-game series. We're not just talking about a doubleheader or a single game. 3 games. You're away for 2 nights, sometimes 3 nights, depending on the travel, and being at home, being in front of your crowd in your familiar territory goes a long way.
Well, and the Bulls want to be back here in May, as Houston is your predetermined site for the conference tournament this year. Last year, Tampa hosted. The Bulls would come up just short against a red-hot Tulsa squad. Bulls would still go on to that Columbus Regional in the NCAA tournament. These Cougars would go to Baton Rouge against LSU. But Cougars, Kristen Vesely realizes when they host the tournament, it'll be a great experience for the NCAAs. That one's a fair ball. It's a leadoff base hit for Kelsey Lay.
Lay, an excellent job hitting on top of that rise ball, leveling it out. She also did a nice job going with the pitch. A great job by the slapper. Check it out again. Takes the rise ball up, goes outside with it. She wasn't moving in the box, so she was stood in, dug her feet in, and did an excellent job of making contact.
Brings us to the number 8 spot in this lineup. 0 for 2 today, 0 for 1 today, Riley Gore. I was talking about Kristen Vesely looking forward to that conference tournament, mindful that it's kind of like the NCAA tournament where one game to the next, you might be in one dugout or the other, even if it is your home field. But the Cougars are starting to really benefit from now having their own dedicated batting facility down the right field line. It was finally completed the first month of this season, so now they have essentially unfettered access to it, and they've seen the performance of their hitters really pick up for the Cougars now.
Gore squaring around early, showing bunt. She needs to make sure she gets that fat part of the barrel out in front of the plate there. She fouled it back. She also needs to make sure that she pushes the ball down and doesn't let the ball come to her. She needs to attack the ball first to get that sack bunt down.
Second time today for Gore to face Bell. Just got the edge of the barrel on it. Well, it was a rough start for Presley Bell in that first inning, but a double play from all people by Savannah Hebner, the catalyst, helping out her fellow pitcher, and Bell's been able to settle in what could have been if that were a multiple run inning for the Bulls. Now they are trying to erase a deficit. Can the Cougars turn 2 again? Just not in time. Gore too quick, but Lay retired on the fielder's choice.
It looked like Gore may have gotten that one at the end of the bat. If we look at it again, it looks like she wasn't able to get around it completely, so it kind of had that slow trickle, but she was able to use her speed to be safe at 1.
Aspen Howie handling that ball about as well as you could hope for a shortstop, dragging that right foot across the bag while making the throw to first. But how about just defensively Presley Bell in the circle as well? Not to be outshined by Savannah Hebner, her own teammate. Here's Des Maldonado, 0 for 1 today, the number 9 hitter for the Bulls, with 1 out, 1 on. And Brooke Vanoy trying to keep Riley Gore honest.
Good job by Gore getting back. You have to be careful. The last thing you want to do is be an out on be a base runner and be an out on the base path. You are so valuable right now, no matter what base you're at.
Couple of RBI this year for the number 9 hitter Maldonado. Just trying to keep this inning going with 1 away. That pitch count starting to climb a little for Presley Bell. We've yet to see truly a perfect inning out of her since back in the second. She did face the minimum last inning when you had a single, but a double play, and then a single being stretched into an extra base hit, leading to the third out. The 2-1. And pardon me, had the count wrong, as that is ball 4.
Maldonado did a nice job laying off that outside pitch. Very patient at the plate. Now helps her team out. Runners on first and second for the Bulls.
And that brings you back to the top of the order with just one away. Well, you tend to see the biggest difference your third time to see a pitcher in a ball game. Here's Anna Marie Bruni trying to prove that theory.
Bruni, having seen her 2 at-bats where she had several different pitches, different looks at Bell, she should now be able to make those adjustments. It looked like she was a little behind on that first at-bat. Now with runners on first and second, she needs to be the hero for her team in this situation.
As Bruni behind in the count early on, a strikeout and a flyout today against Presley Bell.
No, they're not, Martin. They changed it. They're all ours. Martin, I told you I changed it.
With 2 strikes on Bruni right now, she needs to protect, maybe even choke up a little bit, get the bat straight on that ball, at least make contact or foul the ball off, especially with runners in scoring position. She needs to use her wheels to her advantage, make contact, poke something somewhere, and run it out.
Bruni not doing Bell any favors there.
Very nice off-speed, low and away by Bell. Very good pitch to go to with 2 outs, with 2 strikes, excuse me. She knows she doesn't want to give her anything good because Bruni is looking to hit one hard.
Off the handle, it may still carry. It's a 3-run blast for Anna Marie Bruni.
We talked about making adjustments. The third look, maybe even say third time's a charm. That's the case for Bruni. A strikeout, a ground out, and then she makes those adjustments here, keeps her weight back, does a nice job lifting that ball that looked a little low, and also going with the pitch, inside pitch, turning on it. A great adjustment there. However, we just saw on that replay, Bruni passed Maldonado at first base, and according to the rules, that should be an automatic out. Let's see what happens.
Our umpires are coming together, and that may be a difference maker in this. If you pass a runner in front of you, that runner's out.
Unfortunately, that for USF, it's one of those energetic, almost too excited mistakes. Bruni keeps going because she knows that ball is out. However, Maldonado might have gotten turned around on that. Wasn't sure, so she knows anything in the air, she needs to stay put. But unfortunately, Bruni, with her speed and excitement, looked like she went right past her.
So I believe this should be a 3-2 ball game with 2 outs. Maldonado, again, if your teammate passes you at no fault of your own, and there is your score. So instead of a 3-run shot, Maldonado's out. You don't see it too often. So Gore scores and Anna Marie Bruni scores. I was going to talk about how Anna Marie is one of the fastest players in the league and could just settle down to a trot, but even in her trot was too fast.
Even her celebratory home run trot, it was a little too much. And as much as that was an incredible hit, and I don't want to take anything away from Bruni's blast, as we should call it, but that will be a costly mistake down the line for USF, and they want to hope that that doesn't hurt them in the long run.
So the Cougars catch a small break. Here's Megan Sheehan after the home run with nobody on, and there are 2 outs because of that. Right back to Bell. With that said, the Bulls are back in the driver's seat. Move on to the home half of the 5th inning. Georgina Korick once again in the circle with a lead to work with.
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living, never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly, we've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further, let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express, every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body.
The American is dedicated to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see,
then it needs to be okay to seek help for injuries we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help. End the stigma.
Georgina Koric almost had herself an insurance run, but she'll be content with a lead once again here midway through the 5th inning. Lincoln Rose, Jill Jelnick, along with Stephanie Gonzalez. It's great to have you with us here on the American Digital Network. We'll see both of these teams again a little bit later on in the season. And then, of course, we'll have coverage of the early rounds here on the American Digital Network from right here in Houston of the conference tournament. As we do have a... It's still Aspen Howie. As Mark Craver had pointed in her direction. And no, we do have a pinch hitter here with Tiara Williams. So first time for Williams to see Koric. Just the second time through the lineup still for Houston. Again, they've only produced 3 base hits today, 2 of them home runs to keep it interesting.
Williams, just a sophomore.
Well, be good.
With power.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Coach says she's also the best dancer on the team. And that's important to bring up in terms of team morale and being a go-to fun, energetic player. And that energy can be fed off of easily by the team.
Well, we saw that power in a pinch hit home run in the bottom of the 7th against McNeese midweek this past week. That forced extra innings. The Cougars would ultimately prevail. And then you can dance afterwards all you want.
Exactly. It speaks to the being the maturity of this sophomore. She's still very young, but she's able to come up clutch in key situations when the team needs her, whether with the game on the line, as you said, being able to come through for your team and deliver. That's exactly what you need in a pinch hitter. That's what you want, and that's why she's in this situation right now.
Georgina Koric has seen 4 different hitters here in the bottom third of this lineup for Houston. She has struck out all 4 of them. Williams is now the 5th different batter she has seen here in the bottom third, and she has struck out all 5.
Right on cue.
That's going to give way to Brooke Vinoy, presumably coming around for a second time now.
Koric, coming into today's game, had 120 strikeouts. Had a couple more from today. She'll still lead the conference in strikeouts, is also 23rd in the nation in strikeouts.
Struck out Vinoy, first out back in the 3rd inning, part of a perfect 3rd inning for Koric. At the moment, it's USF 3, Sarah Queen 2. A couple of solo shots for the Houston Cougar third baseman, while USF put its first crooked number on the board here in the top half of the 5th with the home run from Anna Marie Bruni. 1 out, nobody on here for Vinoy. Big cut just ahead of that one.
A lot of people tend to underestimate the role of the 9-hole hitter because she is the last hitter in the lineup. Some tend to think that it's one of your weaker hitters. That's not always the case, and very rarely do you see that, because you want your 9-hole hitter to turn that lineup around.
The bottom third of this lineup is 0 for 6 against Cork with 6 strikeouts.
Cork has been phenomenal, did an excellent job bouncing around her both sides of the plate and did a nice job with that. Looked like a little bit of a curve on that one to Vanoy.
Now, I won't pretend the rest of the lineup is much better. Lindsey Stewart got to run the bases once, but she's 0 for 2 today, reaching on that error back in the first inning. She made a great play in center field.
Seen a lot of action today and on defense, now trying to get some action going here on offense for the Cougars.
She was able to throw out Brooke Hartman, trying to stretch a single into a double with 2 outs. Stewart, your leadoff spot in this lineup for the Cougars. Sarah Barker on deck. Right now 2 out, nobody on for Houston. Houston took 2 of its 3 games on the road at Wichita State in its opening series last weekend. And Stewart will punch this one through. Devitt will keep it in front of her, but obviously no play on the speedster.
Stewart, nice job going with the outside pitch, poking it in that 5-6 hole. Looked to be a little high in the zone. She did a nice job leveling it out. Take another look at it. Looks a little outside, maybe a little high. Did a nice job going with it. Again, Devitt made a very nice play, but she knows if it's not hit or directly at her when Stewart, then Stewart's wheels are always going to win.
I'm not. Well, you saw there in the replay, Des Maldonado at third had to respect the speed of Stewart if she put down a bunt. Otherwise, any slower hitter's probably out just because the third baseman's playing back on that ball.
Exactly. You bring up an excellent point. You have to respect your hitters, and in that case, with Stewart's speed, because she can drop that sneaky bunt at any point, the corners naturally are a couple steps in, which made that play much more difficult, as you alluded to.
Let's see if the 2-out rally can continue here with Sarah Barker. That one above the letters. Barker listed at 5-1. A smaller strike zone for Cork to work with here. Sarah was injured midseason last year, and that one's not tempting. But this last week, hit 500, including a triple and a home run, 6 RBI. One of the many Cougars bats that have really started to click here.
No doubt why she also received American Honor Roll honors twice this season within the first 2 weeks of March.
And Sarah Barker has something that a lot of people would envy. She has a World Series ring from her time working with the Astros a couple years back in 2017. The entire organization getting rings for that title. 1-2. And that Georgina Corrick thought was going to get her out of the inning. Corrick's already struck out 2 here in the 5th, 7 for the ball game, including Barker back in the 3rd. Stewart, your runner, still on first with 2 away.
Looks like Stewart maybe gave a fake lead. I know I heard someone from the dugout say runner. Just one person yelling that could cause a catcher to throw down quickly.
Well, and where that can help the hitter, as this ball is going to hold up around second base, squeezed in by Lay. We'll continue that thought next half inning. Tight one here in Houston. Last year's regular season champs still up by 1.
Scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bulls and Cougars here on the American Digital Network today. Cougars alumni game tomorrow as they'll play their afternoon game against USF, 2 o'clock Central, then have a tailgate with a lot of their former greats, and then their slow pitch alumni game. They have to tamp down the competitiveness just for the sake of some of the alumni who otherwise would want to go full speed.
I love the idea of the alumni game, bringing back athletes, bringing back your players that played with you before, have helped set the tone in the program in years past. And it's always a great opportunity to look at some of the older veterans, what they're doing now in their careers, and answer any questions they have for the current players. You speak to them about what they went through, all types of adversity, and it's a great opportunity for a program to come together.
So Macy Cooks retired there for the second time today, 1 for 3 now as she goes back to the dugout. Here's Lindsay Devitt, who's 2 for 2. Single and a double. She's been left on base once, the other time retired on a double play ball. See if she can get something going as the Bulls try to find that insurance run for Georgina Korick.
As you mentioned, Devitt 2 for 2 so far today. So in the mind of Bell, she knows she has to be careful with Devitt. Right now, Devitt has been able to showcase her ability to hit different pitches in different parts of the zone. So Bell will go to her strength. Low and away. We've seen 2 pitches so far in this at-bat, low and away. And no doubt Bell will continue to work those corners as well as all 4 quadrants.
Devitt not doing Bell any favors there. Well, both these starting pitchers doing the rest of the staff a great service, eating up innings. As we could very well see also either of these 2 pitchers later on this weekend as things progress.
We've talked about the success of both of these pitching staffs, where they rank in the conference. Houston with the 2nd best pitching staff, USF 3rd best pitching staff in terms of ERA, and a lot of that has to do with their depth, their versatility with their different starters, how they're able to run strong pitchers each and every game, and not every team has depth with their pitching staff and in the circle, and that's a huge advantage.
Devitt, second Bull to conquer the wall here on the road in Houston. Solo shot, and it's a 4-2 lead for the Bulls.
Devitt with 2 singles before and now a home run in her 3rd at-bat. Take another look. This ball, unfortunately, Bell left it waist high, a little inside, and Devitt did a great job turning her body, getting around on that inside pitch. Bell delivered the power, and Devitt delivered the bang.
Team leading 4th home run for Lindsay Devitt for the Bulls this year. And still just 1 out here for Bethany Keene. That home run's probably a sigh of relief for Bethany, who unfortunately has been a part of 2 double plays already in this ball game. It would be a remarkable double play ball here.
It would. She's happy there's no chance for that, and hoping to continue something.
Howie over to Hebner, 2 away. That'll give way. We anticipate Brooke Hartman, your DP.
A lot of momentum swings in this game. We're through at the top of the 6th, and we've seen sparks of offense for Houston, sparks from USF. I love the fact that we have 2 teams that are battling so hard back and forth, and we talked about it before the game, how talented these 2 teams are, and as well as their pitching staffs, but I love the ability of both of these teams to capitalize in clutch situations.
That last ball just got down foul a moment ago, now 0-2. So are you using momentum swing as a synonym for home run swing?
Yes, they go hand in hand. Momentum swing, home run swing.
4 of them 2 apiece in this ball game.
There's nothing that changes momentum more than 1 cut 1 ball, 1 pitch.
Bulls enjoying their second lead of the ball game. It's their largest lead at the moment, up by 2, with Hartman at the plate, 2 outs.
It also speaks to the resiliency of USF, having trailed and been able to come back. Again, we're only in the top of the 6th, so still more game left, but USF has come up clutch in game time, major situations, in extra innings. They've played 4 different extra inning games this year. All 4 of them, they've come out on top. It speaks to, again, the grit, the tenacity, and also the veterans of this team, being in these situations before, game on the line, they know how to respond.
That's a fair ball, got over the bag and still somehow stayed inside the chalk. How often do we see that ball at least go just left down the line? But no doubt about that one, a 2-out base hit for Hartman.
Hartman turns on the inside pitch, a wicked hop right off the bat. She dug that one deep in the dirt, and unfortunately for Queen, wasn't able to get a glove on it.
Well, again, you see the pitch count for Bell. She's been trying to paint the edge of the strike zone a little bit more over the past couple of innings. First pitch swinging from Lay. Squeezed in, and there is your 3rd out of the inning. Lindsay Devitt drives one out. Stretches the lead for the Bulls, now up by 2.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Bulls defending a 2-run lead.
All right, I'm here with some adorable little fans. What are your names? Okay, and who are y'all cheering for? Aren't they adorable? Okay, do you have a favorite player?
Sarah.
We all love Sarah. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. You girls have fun. Keep cheering loud, and back to you.
All right, thank you. A nice start here for the Cougars as Ariel James with the leadoff single. Cougars, though, with a 2-run deficit at the moment. Savannah Hebner now comes up to the plate out of the cleanup spot. Well, Savannah Hebner's nickname may not be Grandma, but we know her grandmother's tuning in. That's the great thing about the broadcast here on the American Digital Network. It's passionate fans, if they can't make it out, still get to be a part of the action and chime in. As Georgina Korick has seen a few too many Cougars chime in. 2 runs is more than she was hoping to allow. Hebner squaring around, but it'll go back to the backstop.
Hebner looked like she poked at that one almost a little too hard. Needs to square around a little earlier. She may have been trying to sneak that in there, but also needs to be careful that she doesn't pop that bun up. Get the fat part of the barrel on top, push that ball into the ground.
And Cougars down by 2, essentially with 6 outs to work with. James First pitch swinging, the base hit a moment ago, 1 for 3 today. Huebner, a couple of fly ball outs to left and center, 0 for 2. And somebody by the name of Sarah Queen again on deck. And Corrick was hoping James would drift off the bag. No chance for the double play, but able to retire. Again, a tough bat, Huebner, for a third time today.
Nice job by Corrick. Looks like she jammed her a little inside. Huebner not able to get that bat around. Easy out.
For the first time today, Sarah Queen comes to the plate with a teammate on the base paths. And understandably, time for a team meeting.
Right now, head coach Ken Erickson is saying, hey, you guys know who's up right now. You know what she's done so far this game. Let's be careful. Let's be patient, and let's make sure we don't allow any easy mistakes or have any costly mistakes.
So Sarah Queen could potentially tie this ball game with a single swing. 2 for 2 today, each being a home run. Her first 2 on the year.
Corrick comes out right away. A beautiful pitch, getting Queen to swing and miss. Great start. This pitch almost looks like a little off speed, low, drops off at the end. Very difficult pitch. Great job by Corrick getting ahead. Another nice pitch by Corrick. Jumps out 0-2. Now Queen has to change her mindset a little bit. She has to protect, especially with a runner on. Anything close, at least. Get the bat on it, foul it off.
Queen last year, first team all-conference as a sophomore. And a patient eye. The previous pitch just painted the edge of the strike zone. That one just misses. In fact, Houston returned all of their all-conference players this year. Again, reason for high expectations. Technically picked third in conference, but a tight cluster with Wichita State and these Bulls. And Sarah Queen, for the first time today, will not get a chance to round the bases.
Nasty drop ball by Corrick. Looked to be a little, several inches outside of the zone, but coming in. It looks like it's going to be in that strike zone, and then drops off at the tail end. And Queen looks like she picked her head off of it just a little too much. Great job by Corrick bouncing back, getting the hitter who before, earlier this game, had her number.
As this is going to be Maya Thomas, first pitch swinging. She's retired. So Ariel James led off the inning with a base hit. Next 3 Cougars go in order. Georgina Corrick still with that 2-run lead intact. 8, 9, and 1 spots due up for the Bulls.
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly, we've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further, let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express, every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body.
The American is dedicated
to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see,
then it needs to be okay to seek help for injuries we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help.
end the stigma.
Bulls looking for a big win to kick off this weekend series here in Houston. Lincoln Rose, Jill Jelenic, along with Stephanie Gonzalez here on the American Digital Network. Both starting pitchers still in the circle for their teams. 2 pitches away from the century mark today for Presley Bell, who's just thrown her 99th offering. She faces Riley Gore for a 3rd time today. A ground out and a fielder's choice, ultimately a run scored by Gore on that home run by Anna Marie Bruning.
One of the things Houston head coach Kristen Vesley talks about, discusses with her pitchers, is the idea of keeping your pitch count low in each inning. She stresses 15 pitches per inning. And what that does is it doesn't necessarily have much to do about the actual physical movement and staying fresh. What it has to do with is getting ahead in the count. Don't go into deep counts. Go ahead, start off with that strike. Get on that hitter right away. Get ahead, because statistics show when a pitcher gets ahead in the count, that pitcher is more likely to get that hitter to ground out or strike out.
Bell's ERA has climbed today from a .80 to a 1.19. Howie behind her. Over to Hebner in time, 1-1.
Nice play by Howie, getting in front of the ball and also getting a quick release.
Get a ground ball, Pete. I'll bring up Des Maldonado as we get another look.
Hit towards her glove side, does a nice job moving her feet quickly to get in front of the ball, lets the ball ride. Very nice out by Howie.
Maldonado with a walk back in the 5th. This time, Queen. Well, Presley Bell barely over 100 pitches, as the past couple of hitters have done her some favors.
Great job getting in front in the count, pitching, starting off with that first pitch strike, and also having her defense make the plays and back up behind her. That's one of the things that head coach Kristen Vesley talked about before the game. One of their keys is giving your team a chance to stay in the game, have the defense do their job as well as the offense doing their job at the plate.
Brooke Vanoy talking to her pitcher Presley Bell before Bruni comes back to the plate. Bruni was 0 for 2 when she had a 3-run blast out to right. And I say 3-run out of laziness. Again, she would then surpass Maldonado. It would just be a 2-run home run as a result. Right now, nobody on with 2 outs. This time opposite field, line drive squeezed in by Barker. 3 up, 3 down. Cougars still in this one. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Cougars down to their final 3 outs. Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Hueso from 30.
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Well, here we are, bottom of the 7th. Chance for Georgina Cork to go the distance and give her Bulls their 2nd conference win of the young campaign. For Houston, it's the part of the lineup that has struggled. The bottom third of this lineup is due up. They are a combined 0 for 6 against Cork with 6 strikeouts. Burton remains, after pinch hitting from Montgomery, your DP in this lineup. 0 for 1 today. So Brianna Burton, the junior, out of Cywoods High School. Houston needs at least 2 runs before 3 outs roll around. Will it carry? Out to the warning track, nothing more, as Gore able to squeeze it in, and the Cougars are down to 2 outs.
Burton did a nice job turning on that pitch. Just didn't look like she had enough power. Just needed a little bit more to get over the fence, but it held up.
Rachel Hill will now be your 6th different Cougar to bat in this bottom third of the order. Hill, the senior out of Lufkin in East Texas. Came through with a big hit in Game 2 against Wichita State, their first conference win, when she drove in the tying and go-ahead run in that ball game. Right now, she would represent neither, just needs to get on any way she can.
Pinch hitter is always put in a difficult position. haven't seen any live pitches from that pitcher, so sometimes that can be an advantage because they have a fresh set of eyes, or it could be a disadvantage because you haven't seen as many pitches that Corrick has in her arsenal. No matter what, though, the mindset right now of that pinch hitter is be aggressive, help my team out.
1 out, nobody on for Hill. And you can see her mentality.
It's two good cuts. I love her aggression. This ball, however, it was a rise ball out of the zone. Now that she's seen that, hopefully she makes that adjustment and lays off that rise ball. Good adjustment.
Again, Georgina Corrick last year arrived in the American with a splash. The freshman was your Rookie of the Year and co-pitcher of the year with the veterans Savannah Hebner of Houston. Not cheated on that swing, as it'll go just wide of her head coach. Houston 2-1 in conference, Bulls 1-2. Bulls picked as your preseason favorite. Cougars picked third. But again, all three teams, including Wichita State, were right there in the conversation. Not a lot of votes separated the three.
These are also two teams that are in the top 40 in terms of their RPI. For Houston with a 37 RPI, and then right after them, USF at 38.
Yeah, talking to, again, Ken Erickson, you know, so often we talk to coaches about how non-conference gets you ready for conference. He was more geared about how this conference, as strong as it is, actually gets you ready for the NCAA tournament, and that's the big picture and the goal for both these teams.
I loved that comment by Coach, and he couldn't have been more spot on. The American has grown so competitive, and in turn, the conference games are more competitive.
Cougars are down to their final out. The payoff pitch, Hill sends it over to Maldonado. And this is where Brooke Vinoy would be due up out of the 9 spot, down by 2, as Coach Vesely will go to her bench, and it'll be Sharice Wyatt, a sophomore out of Austin, Texas, a former Westwood High School Warrior.
Wyatt, a strong hitter, hitting .333 this season. He's played in 22 games. Also has 11 RBIs.
Vinoy had struck out twice today, and wow, Wyatt can't catch a break. She knew to hold up on that pitch, and the ball still found the barrel of the bench.
She did everything correctly, held up, but unfortunately just got her too high, too close to her bat on that inside pitch. Tough pitch, very good pitch by Corrick.
Well, Corrick is hoping that it only takes 7 innings tonight to get the win. This is after she had 16 strikeouts in that extra inning affair against Tulsa, would win at 4-0, a rare 4-0 8-inning win, as a grand slam would help the Bulls pick up the victory. And the Cougars down to their final strike with pinch hitter in Wyatt at the plate.
With 2 strikes, 2 outs, game on the line. Wyatt knows as a pinch hitter, she's in there to hit, to make something happen, and with 2 strikes, she needs to protect anything close. She has to make contact.
A nice job just getting a barrel of the bat on it. Georgina Corrick, we talk about how she stands out in the American, but also in the country, as there are 6 categories in which she's top 25 in the nation, and among the best in the American, including her 9 strikeouts per 7 innings. Just short of that here today.
If that doesn't say it right there, she's averaging a strikeout, more than 1 strikeout per inning. That's phenomenal. Coming into today, she had 120, leads the conference, as you mentioned, 23rd ranked nationally in strikeouts. And how many strikeouts has she had today?
Yeah, it's at 8 at the moment, looking for number 9 to slam the door shut here. The 2-2 to Wyatt. And a nice job by Sharice. Again, she's been in that dugout all day long, comes out in a big situation here. Her job is just to extend this game any way she can. Those are small victories when you're able to fight off that pitch against Cork. 2 outs, nobody on for Houston. And again, give Sharice White credit.
She's done an excellent job this at bat. Very patient, very good eye, especially for a pinch hitter who hasn't seen Cork at all today. And now it comes down to 3-2 count.
Playable. Over the right side, this time making the squeeze, Bethany Keene. And USF will take game 1 here in Houston. The Bulls travel to Lone Star State and are now back to 2-2 in conference. Perhaps haunted early by a foul ball that got away. Not this time. We'll be back with some post-game interviews with some very happy Bulls here on the road tonight.
We're the visionaries chasing our dreams. Make a difference how we're living. Never routine. Conquer the impossible. Rise, break through. Fire in the belly. We've got something to prove. The world's watching while we're reaching for gold. Go higher, go further. Let your story unfold. Passionately smashing every expectation. Create and express. Every act is innovation. Powerhouse.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bulls pick up the win on the road in game 1. They'll meet the Cougars again tomorrow as well as Sunday afternoon before returning back to Tampa. As Ken Erickson sees his Bulls come back on the road for the victory. As Coach Erickson is with Stephanie Gonzalez, as we'll have a chance to check in with them.
All right, Coach, congratulations. You guys had an amazing game tonight. It's not a bad way to come here in Houston, right, with a win. So talk to us about tonight's game.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad deal. And we were kind of making the softball gods angry with drop pop-ups. Next one hits a home run. We drop a ball, and they advantage. But our guys persevered, you know, and George learned some things, throwing a queen, that you can't throw it up and in on her because she likes that pitch. And but you got to give our guys a lot of credit because they faced a heck of a pitcher, you know, in Bell, and she's been great all year. And our guys just really kept their cool and got the barrel to the ball. Pretty simple.
So what would you say went right tonight?
Pretty much a game plan of simplicity can actually turn into brilliance. If you try to do too much, you're getting away from the game itself. So I thought we had some really good approaches at the plate. I thought we had some good two-strike approaches. Bell's tough, like I said. So our guys just persevered.
What does tonight's win mean to you moving forward in the season?
Well, it just means our conference is really tough, first of all. You take a look at what Houston's done against their schedule, what Tulsa's getting against their schedule, Wichita State, UCF, and us, and it's a pretty tough conference. So it doesn't mean anything in the long run. You've got teams battling each other. You're trying to get 5 maybe teams to the NCAA tournament out of this conference. Have a good opportunity to do it, some high RPIs, but Houston's got a heck of a program. Kristen Vesely's done one heck of a job here since she's taken over, so it'll be a good battle the rest of the weekend.
Congratulations, and also got to talk about the players on the bench. They are loud. We were talking about them. You guys have a great team.
That's what happens when you eat lunch.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right, congratulations. We're here with Lindsay. She's our player of the game. Lindsay, you had an amazing game tonight, including a home run. So what does tonight mean to you, and how do you think the game went?
It was everything to us to bounce back from last weekend. We dropped 2 games to Tulsa, so we had a lot of fight tonight. We were ready to get to it.
So what would you say was your highlight of tonight?
As a team, or
yes, team.
The win, for sure, the win.
So what mentality did you come with coming to Houston?
We were ready to go after it. Like I said, dropping 2 games, we were ready to go. We played a little sandlot game this morning for practice, and we were ready to get after it.
Well, congratulations. And you guys look great. And I told your coach too, y'all are so loud. And I kept talking about that. We heard you throughout the entire stadium. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, back to you.
Stephanie, thank you. Lindsay Devitt, of course, a triple shy of the cycle with her double, single, and that home run for some insurance. The 6th inning as Georgina Korick pitches the complete game for the victory.
Korick did an excellent job on the mound. 8 strikeouts, just allowing 2 runs and 4 hits. But the key was keeping her team in the game. When USF fell behind in the 4th inning, Coach Erickson said it best. His team persevered. They kept on pounding. They kept on attacking early in the count, which was one of our keys of the game. And they did well in his pitching staff. Korick did well enough to keep their team in the game. An excellent job all around on both phases.
Well, let's take this one on the road. For Jill and Stephanie, I'm Lincoln. You're eager to talk. Everything.